What's in the letter?
Who can say? What does the painting tell you?
She's concerned. Whatever's written in the letter troubles her. A burden she can't put down.
Fascinating.
Why go through so much effort to make a fake masterpiece?
The forger initially painted under his own name, but found little success. His work was considered unremarkable. But when he took on the guise of Vermeer, suddenly it was celebrated as extraordinary.
But it was a lie. And he knew it.
Sometimes we struggle to glean what is real and imagined, even within ourselves. The irony of these two is that Vermeer died in obscurity. He had no idea his work would become some of the most precious, most copied, most preserved pieces in all history.
And why can't Celine and Endymion be together?
Celine took a vow of chastity, promising to never take a lover. So when she fell in love with Endymion, she could only visit him at night while he slept.
But then wouldn't she be breaking that vow?
Think of it as a forbidden love. Though circumstance keeps them apart, still they find a way to come together, however briefly.
Aren't Celine and Endymion cold?
Perhaps we should move on to another piece.
No, 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 no.
Shall we move on?
Why are you dodging? Come on. That sounded like there was more to this story.
About Jeremiah. If he knew his home would be destroyed, why didn't he save the people? Why save those relics?
He tried, but no one would listen to his warning, so he saved what he could.
But how did he know?
He was a prophet. He saw an army invade and destroy the city in a vision.
So it's more like he calculated which side would win a battle.
What matters is that he was right in the end. If not for him, all those wonders would have been lost forever. At least this way, some part of his world survived. You know what I like the most about this piece? Even though he's the sole survivor, his home in ruins, left with only the remnants of his world. The light keeps the shadows at bay.
There's still hope.
Precisely. Take as long as you like.
The militia. They look disorganized.
Where others painted such scenes in a stiff and stationary manner, Rembrandt chose to show them in action, preparing to march. He wanted them to feel alive. You can almost hear the commotion.
Who's the girl in the painting?
She's a strange one, isn't she? Bathed in light, though no one is paying attention to her. Many believe she's a symbol of the militia. A physical manifestation of their spirit, if you will.
But she's not real?
What's real in a painting? She's meant to represent the militia's virtue and victory. But I like to think they underestimate her. She looks as if she's seen something. What does she know? What secrets does she keep?
If I would see a person like that in a picture, I would think of romance. That cannot happen. But she's too young for that. So this is more worrying since she really looks concerned. So maybe a loved one was taken. That's also a possibility. Or maybe even this white dude here, this dude in all white, is like a relative that is forced to serve in the militia.
There's so much detail to take in, isn't there?
Where is the ship going?
To a faraway land, most likely. My ancestors used ships like these to explore the world, sometimes at great cost.
What were they looking for?
Anything of value. They were traders willing to face unknown dangers to make their fortunes. But no matter how far they went, they always turned their sails home.
So this Von de Velde only painted ships?
It was his specialty. Following in the footsteps of his father, Willem the Elder. The two had quite a journey of their own, taking them all the way to the court of a foreign kingdom.
Did they ever come home?
No, but eventually their lives worked it. Take your time.
If this ewer was a memorial, how did you end up with it?
As the Pharaoh swarm closed in, my homeland's greatest museum gave it to me, along with many other works, in the hope that I could preserve them. A masterpiece like this was too important to lose to history. I even considered bringing it with me off-world to ensure its safety.
Why didn't you?
I took a calculated risk. This vault seemed more secure than the unknowns of space. Besides, I thought someday I might return. A long life, after all, has its advantages. Now, lo and behold, here I am. Exquisite, isn't it?
I should move on. I should move on.
There you are. Feeling better?
How did you find us? At the cauldron? And what did you do to everyone right before I passed out?
It's not a question of how. We knew how. Once again, Aloy is using IQ points. We knew they would be tracking the energy signature. Maybe she said, how could you find us this fast? Or why were you so certain that we were at that cauldron? Would make more sense. The question of why she turned on her kin is way more important right now.
All business, I see. Well, suffice it to say we were keeping a very close eye on Hephaestus, knowing we would need it at some point. Your ruse didn't fool us, and as for my little trick, it was an overload of the senses, accompanied by an energy discharge. Gerard and Eric were only momentarily disoriented due to their shields, but it rendered you unconscious while I got you out. Perhaps some breakfast might steady you a bit?
I really like how her energy shield is on, because she isn't certain if she can trust Aloy.
This was
I
her
would do
house.
the same.
The one you recreated for Beta, in the data channel you shared.
How
Wait,
perceptive.
I'm dumb. The energy shield is on because she cannot breathe the atmosphere here. We don't know why they can't do it, probably because of the life-enhancing stuff, you know? But, man, sometimes I say some dumb shit.
Please, this way.
After everything your people have done, you think I'm just gonna sit down and have a chat with you?
They're not my people. They never were, and especially not now.
Dude, what I really like, what they did with these dinners, is a lot of the, like, what this game really does well is how it merges a tech, uh, you know, a mechanical dinosaurs with just vegetation and this, medieval sort of setting. And then these dinners are a very heavy contrast on perfection, art, and elegance. And that that takes them away from the entire story in a good way. Like you really can point out when they are there or when their weapons are used, which makes them is, I guess the best description I can come up with right now is it shines a very distinct spotlight on them, and I like this cinema really a lot.
You shot off into space with them and live with them for 1,000 years before coming back.
To say it a bit different, but I think this makes more sense. Since they are so artistic, they don't fit, and that makes them fit even more.
So what made you suddenly turn on them?
Quite simply, this.
My old focus. You repaired it? But that means you've seen
Incredible things. What you've accomplished in 2 decades of life. A 1,000 years at my back, and I haven't even come close. I'm sorry if I invaded your privacy, but I had to. In order to understand, to be enlightened. You truly are Elizabeth's blood. With her drive, her sense of mission, her integrity. Watching all this shamed me for the company that I've kept. Having seen it, all I want is to help you.
even if it means stopping your friends.
Especially so. Please, sit down. There. That's better. Now, we must recover Beta and Gaia at all costs. By now, you must know that Gerard intends to use Gaia to reboot the Earth's biosphere. Remaking this world to specifications that would only suit us immortals. This process will kill every living thing on the planet. He calls it a clean install.
Not if I stop him first.
Not if we do. And once he and the others are gone, we can work together to fulfill Elizabeth's dream. I'm sure Beta told you that there's a build of the Apollo database on board our ship. A complete collection of human knowledge.
So, I just want to say this because last time I was too scared of proposing something like this, but it's pretty obvious how they want this to go. You know, them working together, becoming friends, and building the foundation of a friendship on this mission, right? But what I really want for this game to do here, if they do something like this or something similar, I will just kick every criticism I have of this game and give it a 10 out of 10 for its story, you know. I want her to backstab Aloy after they are finished stabbing her friends. So she will become the god emperor of this planet. The goddess, so to speak. Because she would be the only one left with the technology and basically infinite power. Like the only thing that can stop her is Hephaestus. Obviously this game doesn't have the boards to do something like this. But if it does, I will be impressed.
With that and Gaia, we could do everything Elizabeth wanted. Heal the biosphere, educate the people of this world, uplift them. Create the world she imagined.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. From what I've seen, your friends are invincible.
I do wish you would stop calling them my friends. And they're not invincible. In fact, a friend of yours has found a way to defeat them.
Silence.
Oh, he's been a busy bee, building an
And
army
I was wondering
powerful
how he
enough
was
to
gonna come
crash
back in
through
this.
Gerard's precious base.
Yeah. Regala and her rebels.
Even now, she's preparing a final march on the Tenakth capital. When she wins, she'll have the entire tribe under her control. Hundreds of warriors and machines to throw at the base. She's been duped. They'll all perish, of course. But it should be enough to break Gerard's defenses and allow Silence to kill him. Along with all the others.
Using the new weapon he's developed.
Yes, he's found a way to circumvent our shields. Truly an exceptional man. He's planned for everything. Except you and me.
And here the question comes into my head. When Ayla first encountered the Zenith, Silence said that even so she shouldn't trust them. She should cooperate with them and work with them. I wonder if Silence would have planned for Aloy being in the throne room, so to speak, with the Zenith to help him then kill the big boss later on. That would be one of his calculated risks, because I think the Zenith would have just killed her because they had Beta. And then the question becomes, did Silence know about Beta or not? Because that would make a big difference for his calculated risk. Because if he didn't know about it, it would make sense that he would think Aloy would have a chance cooperating with them. But if he knew about Beta, bro, it dips below 5% that they would even consider keeping Aloy alive. Like, if you already have a master key, why do you need a second one?
You see, while his army is battering down Gerard's doors, you and I will sneak in through a back way. One that only I know about. While Silence and my friends are busy battling each other, we'll take back Beta and Gaia. I told you I want to help you. I mean it.
My old focus. How did you find it, let alone repair it?
When we encountered you at the Hades Proving Lab, Gerard saw you as a redundancy. I knew better. You were a revelation. After your dramatic escape, bravo, by the way. Gerard and Eric assumed you were dead and gave up the hunt. I wasn't so sure. When the others were busy, I returned to the lab and searched for any trace of you. That's when I found this little treasure. Not easy to repair, but certainly worth the effort. As I watched your life unfold, you were like a splash of color on a worn canvas. What Liz was, and more.
Did you show it to the others?
Of course not. It was your actions that inspired me to defy them. It's worth noting that if I hadn't found it and watched its contents, I wouldn't have known to save you at the cauldron. You'd be dead.
So I should be grateful?
If you like.
At least Ayla is consistent in opposing logic in general. Because just because he don't like a person, it increases the resistance to agree even though the logic checks out.
You said Beta is not in urgent danger, so what are the Zeniths doing to her?
Putting her to work. Merging Hephaestus with Gaia. A difficult, time-consuming task, as I'm sure you know. They will compel her if need be. But her life is not in danger. She's the only one who can do it.
Because you people made her to be nothing but a tool.
Gerard's idea, not mine. They always viewed me with suspicion when I attempted any form of kindness towards her. That's why I created the data channel. A virtual place where we could speak in peace.
So this channel you shared with Beta, none of the other Zeniths ever found out about it.
Gerard believes he's the most cunning of all of us. Even after 1,000 years, he still can't imagine that I would outwit him. The channel allowed me to interact with Beta away from their mistrustful eyes. It offered us a chance to be ourselves.
Until you cut off all contact.
Yes, though it pained me. I was worried that our meetings would do her more harm than good.
Well, she felt like you tossed her aside.
I was afraid the others would find out and punish her. She may not have had the comforts of friendship anymore, but at least I ensured she was safe. I know it seems harsh, but you must believe that her well-being has always been paramount to me.
Nah. Everything, like, basically what I want to say is, the value of life. But what is life really worth? What life is worth living? And then you go to the darkest places where people are on deathbeds, only kept alive by machines to defy even old age. And then there is where you can find the answers of what life is worth living, for how long, or how, yeah.
Why did you make the data channel look like this place?
I built this house as a shelter to weather any storm. A safe place. Not just for me, but for the art stored below. Cultural artifacts of incalculable value. Truly some of the greatest achievements of human civilization.
And you wanted Beta to see them?
Yes. Her upbringing was so cold and technical. I thought if she could experience Vermeer and Rembrandt, it would bring something else into her life. A heritage every bit as valuable as the scientific and technical data being drummed into her. I'm sorry I had to cut off contact, but I'll never regret sharing this house with her. She needed its shelter even more than I did.
Beta told me your colony was destroyed. That you came back to Earth because you had nowhere else to go.
It's true. After we reached our destination, a planet in the Sirius star system, we spent decades building a new home. The physical constraints of Earth, the boundaries of mortality, gone. To think of what we could have done with it. It might have been a utopia. Instead, we stagnated, absorbed in effortless comforts and virtual realities. It took a cataclysm to finally yank us out of our stupor.
What happened?
A massive geological event. We knew of instabilities in the planet core, but we underestimated them. By the time the collapse was upon us, it was too late to stop it. Only a few of us made it to the ship in time. We set course for Earth, the only safe harbor left to us.
Which you decided to make unsafe for anyone else.
Not me. Gerard. He believes it's better to wipe the canvas clean than work around the smudges. No more primitive tribes, no more combat machines, only a blank slate to do with as he pleases. But we will...
I'm gonna say this. He's half right. Just like Thanos. You know? One of her paintings included, the one with the boat, where the son started painting boats like his father did, and he probably got inspired by his father. And everything here on Gaia's world is already imprinted with lessons from the environment. And it would take aeons to reteach the children of this world. So, logically speaking, it is way less trouble to just reset the world and start with new children. And then just guide them into the right direction, whatever direction that might be. But we are pro-life because I'm not the kind of person that should answer these kinds of questions, because to allow a little bit of personal insight here, I was heavily involved with the raising of my nephew, and a lot of things that I didn't want to happen to him happened to him because others interfered in his uprising. To keep it general, or it's not even that bad, I like computers. My brother-in-law likes computers. The friend of my sister back then also liked computers. So I got him into computer science and all of that, and had a plan, how to inspire him to that, how to, make him more logical, make him process books, writing, typing, all of that stuff better. But then, his what's the parents called that are not the original adoptive parents, right? But they are my father and my mother. Raised my nephew, and they wanted him to develop more freely, so to speak. But their vision was lazy, to put it best. Like, they didn't had any ill intentions. That made it so hard for me to fight them as well. Or I never really fought them, because I cannot fight someone who means well, who is 100% believes his actions are the true actions, or the actions that believes in his own actions, even if they are flawed. I can never get really angry at these kinds of people. But the only way you lose me is if you become completely illogical. When words can no longer describe your actions. And yes, that happens sometimes. And I at some point needed to really basically sneak around his foster parents to raise him proper. And halfway succeeded, halfway didn't succeed. There's something he has to do now alone. And if he succeeds in that, then you know, then everything was worth it, basically. But this is basically the same thing. Whatever is on this planet isn't aligned with the vision of the leader of the Zenith. So it's too primitive, it's too violent, it's too dumb. It's checking all the boxes for him to be fed up, and it's better to just, make his own children that 100% obey him, even if it's on a slave level. It's for progress. It's better to start over, and that's why I said like Thanos, because in a way, you can see where that is a good thing, right? When everyone is on the same page, when everyone pulls on the same rope. But the questions are the means as to you getting there. And that is where the conflict of this game arises, or many stories conflicts come from. Yeah. The end doesn't always justify the means.
We'll stop him. All we have to do is get into that base.
What exactly is your plan to sneak into the Zenith base?
We will make use of a lesson I learned from an early age. Always know your exits. In this case, a place where Gerard's new construction meets the ancient foundation, a passage that only I can access. When Silence flings his army at the base, we will enter through this back door, bypassing most of the fighting. The distraction will provide us with a window in which to rescue Beta and Gaia.
Once we're inside the base, where will we find Beta and Gaia?
Here in the command center. By then, Gaia will have been reunited with all of its subordinate functions, including Hephaestus.
What about the alpha build of Apollo on your ship?
A simple matter of recovery once the others have been dealt with. With that in hand, we'll have everything we need to make this world as it should be.
How do you know about Silence's plan?
He isn't the only one adept at spyware.
You hacked his focus?
Bro, no shit, man. How dumb is Aloy? Like, she wasn't that smart in the first game either, but my god. She is 300, 400 years old? Bruh. And she made a data channel that got under the radar of her teammates. Bruh. Silas is a noob. He has been learning this stuff maybe for 20 years. He ain't got shit on her, Ain't got nothing.
No, he's too careful for that. But his subordinates? Not so much. He gave additional focuses to the tribals he branded the Sons of Prometheus.
The ones working with Regala.
By tapping their focuses, I learned about most of his dealings. The distribution of override technology, the arming of Tanakh rebels, and the secret pact with Regala to attack Gerard's base.
But how did he come up with a weapon that can take down your shields?
That's the one thing I haven't been able to figure out, but however he did it, I'm quite certain it will work. With it in the Tanakh army, victory seems to be within his grasp. Such a shame he'll be disappointed.
Regala's only interested in killing Hikaru and waging war on the Karja. What does she have to gain by attacking Zeniths?
It's the price she must pay for her war. Without the ability to override machines, her little rebellion would have languished in the desert.
So she trades with the Sons of Prometheus. Machines to help her overthrow Hikaru.
In exchange for an assault on the base. Pride has deluded her into thinking she can actually survive such a battle.
Not even necessary that. I would just take that deal to be in the King of the Tennak, you know, then just tell Silence to go fuck himself. But since she just told us she can hack into Silence focuses and all of that, we can trust her word on that, I think.
And all without ever knowing who the Sons of Prometheus really answer to. Yet for all of Silence's brilliance, still he underestimates you. That blind spot is what will allow us to take Beta and Gaia right out from under him.
While hundreds of Tenakth are cut down outside.
Either that or they get blasted at the base.
So you knew Elizabeth. What was she like?
Liz was everything she was. I see in you. And more. Your ingenuity, your determination, your moral compass. You've managed to distill her greatest qualities and make them your own.
I'm not asking about me. Tell me about Elizabeth. What was she really like?
The honest answer is that I don't actually know. For all the time that I spent with her, she always kept a part of herself locked away. It was like that from the moment we met.
So when you met Elizabeth, she was what? Distant? Aloof?
Not aloof. Not exactly. It was a summit in Paris about machine learning, a touchy subject in those days, because regulatory authorities were just starting to clamp down on AIs. Liz gave the keynote address. She had already achieved great renown for her work in automated environmental reclamation. But in her address, she was just starting to imagine the next step. An AI-driven system that wouldn't just act on its programming, but actually take responsibility for its sphere of influence.
To care about life. Not just follow orders.
Revolutionary stuff. I was fascinated. And I wanted to meet her for a long time. I watched her after her talk. She had spoken with such moral authority, such empathy. But after that, she retreated. I could tell she felt uncomfortable with all of her admirers. It was as if giving the talk had cost her something. I didn't want to be a pest, so I planned my approach carefully.
So how did you finally approach Elizabeth after her talk?
I picked the right moment. The morning of the next day, right as she came back to the conference, she had just had her coffee. She was fresh, rested. It was like she had braced herself for the onslaught of colleagues. I asked if I could walk with her, then put forth a question about her talk that I thought was intelligent. Her answer made me realize it wasn't, but she was very welcoming. Almost as if we were previously acquainted. It was only halfway through the conversation that I realized she knew exactly who I was. It was quite a shock to me. My business was trafficking in secrets, and I took great pains to protect my anonymity. So that was Liz, perpetually one step ahead. I came to view our meeting as a metaphor for our friendship. She always seemed to know me far better than I knew her.
I guess I know the feeling. So you know all about me. What about you?
What would you like to know?
Well, start with your life on Earth.
When I was...
This freaking art direction, man. Bruh. This is the biggest problem in this game, that you're only supposed to do the question from left to right in a circular motion. If you if you disturb that flow, you get imagery like this.
8, terrorists flooded my home city. Thousands drowned, my parents included. I was one of the few who survived. My guardian sent me to boarding school. Among my peers, I was the strange girl, the orphan to be avoided. All because of circumstances beyond my control.
Oh. So we're a lot alike, huh?
Aren't we? You were an outcast. But you didn't let that stop you from getting what you needed. Neither did I. I climbed my way out of desolation and used my wits to build a fortune. First, from the technical analysis of art and the detection of forgeries. Profitable expertise in those days. But as it turned out, the software I developed was even more useful for counterintelligence. From there, it was only a short step to gathering extremely valuable intelligence on my own.
You were a spy?
More like a service one could turn to for information. I had to remain anonymous, of course, to protect my privacy. But despite that anonymity, Far Zenith inevitably sought me out.
What happened when Far Zenith approached you?
They painted an irresistible vision of humanity's future. One where we need not fear illness or death, where we explored the furthest reaches of the stars and thrived. It was only later that I realized that they only intended to bequeath this future to the rich and powerful. By the time I finally figured it out, the walls were closing in, Pharaoh's machines were devouring the earth. So I accepted Far Zenith's invitation to a berth on the Odyssey. I wanted Liz to come, but she had nobler plans, as you well know.
So you didn't know the other Zeniths were monsters until it was too late?
I knew some of them were, certainly. It wasn't until we were off-planet that I understood the true scope of their greed. I was grateful to simply be alive, but the others became obsessed with a kind of effortless immortality. They built a colony where machines serviced their every need, where any memory or fantasy could be endlessly savored in virtual reality. It wasn't life. It was stultifying, a pampered dream state. As the decades passed, I withdrew more and more, alone yet again, but this time with eons to consider my mistakes. Now, finally, having met you, I feel like I have a second chance.
To do what?
Help you, of course. To fulfill Liz's dream, which isn't so different from Far Zenith's original vision. A better future for humanity.
First Varl. Now Hikaru and the Tenakth. Your plan would wipe out an entire tribe. There has to be another way.
We are in an admittedly desperate situation, but I assure you there isn't. Remember Zero Dawn. Elizabeth's sacrifice. Sometimes many have to die for a new world to grow.
If it looks impossible, look deeper. Wait. The data channel. It still exists, doesn't it? I need you to open it.
Bioscanners do exist. Heat sickness scanners do exist. And this is what I mean by the game insulting the intelligence of the player. You're not fighting machines that you can hack. You are not fighting humans that are tribal. This just will not work.
Let me talk to Beta.
Impossible. We might be detected.
It's worth the risk. There is another way, one where the Tanakh survive.
But we won't. If the others...
If you want to help, open it.
Bruh. You know, what is she even going to tell Beta? Hey, can you open the front door and let us in, please? Why is she surrendering that? Brother. We don't even know what Beta is doing right now. Oh, the prick is Beta in here.
What are they doing to her?
Virtual reality dissociation. The manual merge of Hephaestus will take hours upon hours of tedious micromanagement. If she resists the work, they run simulations to induce feelings of isolation and despair.
Beta, can you hear me?
You're alive. They're watching me. I can't hold it this extra protection for long.
Bruh. I didn't think spiritualism and machine stuff is gonna be merged in here even more. I think Banuk where pretty much how far that stuff would go. But now, bruh, what is this? Warhammer 40k? Yeah, we got to pray to the machine spirit. To repair the machine, we must soothe the spirit. Yeah.
You should have killed me.
No. No, look at me. I'm coming for you. I promise, okay? I just need you to hold out a little while longer and work on the merge.
You know what's really cool about virtual torture?
I think it can be done.
Is that it's as long and as quick as dreams.
I'll contact again when it's time.
I think it was
Can you
like
hold on?
7th or 8th
As long as
grade
you're
where I
good for me.
learned that
I can endure anything.
dream. That the dream is basically 5 minutes long, maybe 2.5 minutes. And each sleeping cycle is like 45 minutes, and there are like
All right.
7 minutes
I
of
did
deep
as you
sleep.
asked. Now I think you need to tell me what you're planning.
And on the edges
I'm
of
gonna
deep
take
sleep,
Silence
you
on
are
anyway.
dreaming. So, but dreams like to be hours long. How the frick is she even going to remember this conversation? And she gets tortured for weeks in the minutes that she is sitting on that chair.
I don't need it. Only the weapon he made to penetrate your shields.
And how do you propose to get it? Ask him nicely?
Without Regala and her rebels, he won't have a choice. We'll be his only option.
Only option for what? What did you tell her?
That is between me and my sister. Will be Silent's only option for crashing that base. I'll tell you the rest later. But first, there are a couple of things I have to do.
Oh. And what are those?
Lay my friend to rest. And then I'm going to use the override that Beta gave me at Gemini to put an end to Regala's rebellion. From the air.
Wait. Since you insist on doing things your way, I know of something that will truly help you make a grand entrance with the Tenakt. The ancient Horus Titans still possess electromagnetic energy cells as part of their arsenal. Drop one of those on Regala's army and they'll receive quite a surprise. So go, do what you must. I'll come to your base if you manage to bring Silence to the table.
Not if. When. Erend, are you there?
Aloy! Aloy, is that really you?
Yeah, it's me. Where's everyone else?
We're all... We're back at base. What happened?
It might be easier to explain in person. I'll try to join you there when I can.
Okay. We'll wait here for you. It's good to hear your voice, Aloy.
It's really cool when you come across these places that I've explored. You know, when I was doing my side quest stuff and question mark hunting. Because I absolutely didn't know what the frick this place was. This seemed to have no connection.
Just to let you know, I'm now patched into your focus network.
Oh no!
Great.
Ah.
I take it the other Zeniths can't hear us?
Of course not.
But there's
And they
that
don't
window
know
where
about
you
your
can
base
drive in.
either, in case you were wondering. I've sent you data on the Horus energy cells you can use against Regala's forces. Reach out to me when you're ready to acquire one.
Understood.